very good morning to you. You're watching Newsline this morning with me, Chathuranga Hapuarachchi. We are going to talk to the General Secretary of the UNFF, Mr. Maithri Gunaratne, this morning. Because we only have half an hour and we have a lot to talk about, I'm going to get to the topic straight away. Mr. Gunaratne, first of all, thank you for being here this morning.
Thanks for the invitation, Chathuranga.
Mr. Gunaratne, the Parliament, the second session of the Parliament is to convene today. A ceremony is to be held at the Parliamentary Complex. We also saw the MayDay rallies of three major parties yesterday. The former President's Camp, the President's Camp and the JVP also had their MayDay rallies. And we know that the gazetting of the ministerial portfolios will happen during the week, is what we are told. Now, with all of this coming in, I will start with the MayDay rallies. Sunday was a MayDay rally for the United National Party, and the Prime Minister expressed some interesting views. One such view was that when it comes to the Central Expressway project, the matter will be subject to a proper tender procedure. Now, with the track record that the Prime Minister has had, the ministers that are close to the Prime Minister has had, with the amount of corruption we have experienced in state institutions in our country, when the Prime Minister says we'll have a proper tender procedure, what comes to your mind?
Proper tender procedure is, I think, an overstatement, because I don't think this government has had any tender procedure which is proper, because every tender which has been held, which has been had, has had so many irregularities, and so many people are trying to fix these tenders. So proper tender procedure, Chathuranga, is not a thing which we can expect from this government. Of course, the tender procedure is very simple, but the interference of it, now you can see the tender with regard to that sugar company, where the President's Chief of Staff was involved. Now, even that, right, they were trying to keep some items and release the balance, and they were twisting the arm of the successful bidder. So in that form, so many interferences take place in the tender procedure. And now there is this procurement commission which has come into operation. One doesn't see any action on the part of the procurement commission. The Hapuarachchi government has established all these commissions, but without teeth, without resources, without officers, so they cannot function. So Prime Minister's statement about proper tender procedure is an absolute overstatement, and I don't think you can expect it. Of course, now one thing is that economic subcommittee, cabinet economic subcommittee is out of the way, because that was the one organization which has caused irreparable damage.
CCM.
The CCM, irreparable damage with regard to awarding contracts and tenders, because it was that committee which approved even the coal tender, where the Supreme Court found fault with the secretary, and it was that CCM which approved the coal tender, and the Sri Lankan citizen had to pay $15 more for a ton of coal for 2.5 million tons of coal. So that is the magnitude of the corruption. That is the magnitude of the interference of the Prime Minister and his ministers with regard to tender procedure.
Mr. Gunaratne, another point that was raised there was that the Samurdhi Fund, the Samurdhi Bank, will be taken under the central bank. Now, once again, given what has happened at the central bank, given the fact that the EPF money of the people that belongs to the poor people, the working class, the working people of the country, was in a way misused. When you say that the Samurdhi will also be taken under the central bank, isn't there a bit of fear?
No, Chathuranga, I of course feel that all banks, whether it is Samurdhi, whether it is a cooperative bank, whether it is the Sanasa bank, whatever organization which classifies itself as a bank or a bank, or in rural areas you get various small banks, the Samupakara Bank and all that. So now all those I feel should be scrutinized by some regulatory body, and preferably the only organization in this country is the central bank.
Right.
Of course, the central bank's conduct has been disappointing. It has not contributed very much, but still you can give it more teeth, you can give it more people, and you can strengthen it. Right. So therefore, I feel that may not be a bad idea for some kind of regulation, because these banks are not being controlled by anyone. Now I know in Hapuarachchi, I just accidentally bumped into a person who had put money into the cooperative bank, and the bank is saying that they don't have money to pay them back, the depositors. So if there is some kind of control, then at least the indicators will show that this bank is not doing all that well, right? Because people in the villages have gone and put it into the cooperative bank, because I think it is the easiest place to go and put money, because it's close to their house. They don't have to go to the town, and it doesn't take one whole day. So with regard to that convenience, they have put it into the cooperative bank, but now when they go to withdraw the money, they are saying, well, we don't have money to pay. So what they are saying is, I mean, adding insult to injury, they are saying, if you know anyone who wants to settle the bank, if you can bring that person and come, we will give you that money, because that is the money we have given, your money which we have given some other person. So it has come to that level. So I feel that statement is good, but I don't think the Prime Minister should have any control over the central bank, because he is the person who took over the central bank under him. He took the EPF under him, he took the insurance trust fund under him, he took the ETF under him, and he premeditated this whole central bank fiasco by bringing Arjuna Mahendran. Today Arjuna Mahendran is not in the country. I think he has a moral duty to bring in Arjuna Mahendran, get him to come down, because if he could have got him from Singapore to come and be the central bank governor, after he has robbed the central bank, after the central bank has been completely, the image tarnished, he has a moral duty to get the governor back, or he should resign. If he is honorable, I don't think honorable he is not untouched by being honorable, but if he has a semblance of it, even if he cannot bring Arjuna Mahendran, as he is the person who appointed Arjuna Mahendran to that position, he should, on that alone, this high ground, high moral Ranil Wickramasinghe should resign, right? So he has no right to talk with regard to banking activities, but I think the central bank itself, the governor of the central bank, should at this late stage even get all the banks under their purview, get qualified people to come into the central bank, and get the this being properly regulated, and it has to be checked. There should be check, and there should be indicators that even once a month they can publish these indicators, so that even the general public who know about banking, the retired people who know about banking, can go into them and say, okay, this bank seems to be having certain problems.
Mr. Gunaratne, now let's shift our attention to the other topics we had. Now, we were going to talk about the Parliament today as well. Now, the Parliament is due to convene. The second session of the 8th Parliament is due to be convened today with a grand ceremony at the Parliamentary Complex. Yeah. We also see that, the 16 defectors of the SLFP government, they are also to sit in the opposition. The gazetting of the new ministries, the subjects for the ministries is to happen. A lot of things happening politically in our country in this during this week. But to the common people, what is happening?
Common people, only prices of food items are going up by every passing day. The dollar is going up. The rupee is depreciating. And I think now the dollar is about 58, 59.
159. Yeah.
159. So, vis-a-vis that, for petrol you are paying more, for milk food you are paying more, for every item which is being imported into this country you are paying more. As a result, no government can keep the food prices down. So, the people are going to be taken to the cleaners again. With regard to Parliament, I mean, there were a lot of grandiose plans that this is going to be another day like the no confidence motion where the government will have to go home. The irony is, Chathuranga, this pension. Yeah. Parliamentarians, when they sit for the first 5 years, they are entitled to a pension. So now, why no one is keen in sending a government home if they are even doing certain wrong within the first year or the second year is because most of the members or the new members will be deprived of their pension. Now, this is a sorry state of affairs. The public paying taxes have to pay their pensions. In order for them to get their pensions, even if there is bad administration, they have to tolerate it and wait for 5 years. Right? So, what have the public of this country done to deserve such bad treatment? They are being treated with contempt, I feel, by the parliamentarians, and the other sad situation is, the public also at every election under this PR system has voted the same faces back into parliament. So there is a saying that people deserve the leaders they get. But what I'm saying is this needs to change, and I feel with the new election system which was introduced to the local government bodies, if I'm right, I think I'm right, 80% were new candidates which came in. Right. 80% were new candidates. So now what I think you all have as a channel taken various courses. I think now you all should take the course of changing this electoral system, because that is one of the promises of the president of this Yapalana government. Provincial councils should be brought under the seat-by-seat basis with a mixed system. Parliamentary elections also should be brought under the same system, because Chathuranga, take my word, you will get a new breed of politicians slowly coming in. This system has gone from bad to worse. It is not going to be put right overnight. It will take a little time. It will take maybe 1 or 2 circles of elections or cycles of elections. Right now, as it is, I was in a few electorates this weekend. As it is, people are, they voted for the Pohot tour for Mahinda Rajapaksa because he had a huge sympathy. Because in 2015, when the people voted against the Rajapaksas, it was because they were abusing their power. But what they wanted to do was from a 60% vote, they wanted to give him about maybe 51%. To show him that, his now popularity is slowly waning. But that backfired, that misfired, he lost. Having lost, he went home as the president who won the war, and our Sinhalese people or people in this country started having sympathy for him. And then adding to that sympathy, what happened was these Yahapalana captains were also, day after day, they were kicking the ball into their own goal. Day after day. Every week, every month, there's an incident where they kick the ball into their own goal. Right? So the momentum or the sympathy for the Rajapaksas grew. Right? And the first election which came after the defeat in 2015 was the February 10th local government election. So they gave the Rajapaksas with compound interest. The victory, because Chathuranga, a party which was formed 1 year ago, put the main 2 parties, the SLFP and the UNP, and even the JVP. And the JVP. Right? You calculate all their votes, the SLPP, the Port Tour, got the similar amount. Right? And with that, what they ensured was, they showed the SLFP, the person who voted and gave 1.5 million votes to the SLFP, that the SLFP is a non-entity. So I feel if they get their act right, which I don't feel is happening, the local government bodies, the Port Tour, the same rogues have got in there. I can't see any difference in the local government bodies, irrespective of the Port Tour, UNP or whoever is controlling it. The tamasha seems to be going on. The one hallmark is Chathuranga, is if the streets are clean. Now when you walk on the streets, if the streets are clean, that is one of the main functions of the local government body. Right? As a hobby, I cycle. On a weekend, as a hobby, I just cycle. if you see the dirt on the roads, if you see the dirt which is being thrown by respectable people into bare blocks of land, and if you see how many things are just thrown all over the place, I mean, the local government bodies have now 2 months or 3 months in operation. What have they done? Because why do you need these councillors? Why does the taxpayer have to pay them if they are not doing their job? There is no point, because anyway, without them the councils went on for about 2 years, and the officials ran it. The officials ran it. All I feel, if the councillors cannot do their jobs, all you need to do is you need to get the CDS, that is the Civilian Defence Force, or what? There is a new thing which is open.
Civil Defence.
Civil Defence Force. I mean, those guys do a very much better job than any of these councillors. So if they can't do it, and what I'm saying is, I mean, we as citizens, the citizens of this country want no garbage. They don't want any kind of dirt on the roads. The roads have to be clean. Right? So whoever can clean it, you will give them. Why do you need to spend millions and millions and millions in keeping these people in office?
That applies to the parliament as well.
That applies to the parliament as well. Because my contention is, Chathuranga, they are not doing their job.
Yeah.
The councillor is appointed, his main purpose is to clean the dirt, to see that the streets are clean. That is his job. See that there is no garbage problem, see that there is no dengue. Right? And I am told that one of our councillors told me that when they went for the first meeting with regard to dengue, the official comes and says, okay, there was in 2016 there were 500 dengue cases, 2017 there were 400 dengue cases, 2018 there will be about 300 dengue cases, and they are happy about it. Right? My contention is that there can't be dengue in 2008 at all. You must eradicate it. You must eradicate it. There is no point in just coming and giving figures, because people are dying. People are dying.
People's lives.
Children's life, people's life, mothers, fathers, everyone are dying. So this kind of irresponsible actions, behavior, right, I think has to be checked and named and shamed. Because camera should go out, media should come out. I mean, this is all, dengue is one of the biggest problems we are having. Tourism is down because of, one of the reasons is because of this. Right? And dirt. And when you see a city which is dirty, I mean, you don't feel like walking on the streets. You don't feel like walking on the streets. It's so filthy. So therefore, Chathuranga, I feel that even there is no opposition in this country.
Yeah.
The only opposition in the country is the media.
Yeah.
Right? So I feel it is time for all media organizations to take this as a program and take it to maybe go do a spot check into one Pradesh Sabha or a municipal council and show these are the areas which are having dengue and all that. And I know that most of the programs have where you call and inform the stations. And they can do that, and then name and shame.
Yeah.
Then the councillors and all of them will have to come and answer their people as to what they have been doing.
Mr. Gunaratne, doesn't this inaction stem from the top? Now we see that I'll come back to my point. If you take about the parliament, they are worried about their ministerial portfolios, crossing overs, establishing their confidence, things like that. So they don't really care about the people and their problems. So doesn't that boil down to the lower levels? And isn't that why we have this issue right now? Politicians don't care about the people, they care about themselves. That is the perception.
That's the perception.
Perception has come from the parliament, isn't it not?
Yeah, but the point is, Chathuranga, when you talk of the local government bodies, now there are new people which have gone in.
Yeah.
So they need to get that together. They need to get their act together. You can't change maybe the parliamentarians, the provincial councillors, you can't change. But at least let us try to make a change with this, with the new flush which has gone into the local government bodies. There are more ladies which have gone in, and at least I feel that is a good thing. Although it is perceived as they are doing not doing anything, they are just like passengers. But slowly I think they will get into action, because whatever said and done, it is the ladies in this country who are running this economy. You take the foreign employment, you take the tea industry, you take the garment industry. The main foreign exchange earners have been the females. Females. So them coming into politics is a good thing, and basically cleanliness in a house also is maintained by them. Basically, so I mean, I also feel that they also must play a major role, because this is our country, and these are our cities, these are our hometowns. Yeah. So we need to make it clean. We need to make it green, right? And I have proposed to our team a concept by the name of Surapurak Kadana Parapurak. If I have the time to explain,
sure.
The Surapurak Kadana Parapurak is where we get the student population of this country. There are about 5 million students involved in the garbage disposal. One man's trash is another man's treasure. One man's trash is another man's treasure. Now, for instance, in an urban area, today people don't use firewood and coconut shells and things like that. I'm only giving one example to cook. So the coconut shells which they use, maybe one or two coconuts a day, is just thrown into the garbage. But coconut shells have a economic value. Right? They can, for activated carbon, you need the coconut shell, and the guy who collects the coconut shell has to spend a hell of a lot of money by using a tractor to send it all over the place and get it. So if you can get this, I'm going to give you an example. If you can get the children to collect their coconut shells, collect their plastic waste, collect their cardboard waste, collect their electric waste, like mobile phones, mobile phone chargers, computers, which sometimes are just gathering dust at homes, right? So if all these have a market value, if the children are assigned one day of the week to bring it to the school, and in school you get the prefects, who will administer the collection, the sale, and bank books to be open to all children. You get the People's Bank, get the Bank of Ceylon, get the Ceylon Bank, Sampath, whoever, to come and put this money. If it's we'll say coconut shell, it has a value of about 4 rupees for two shells. So you will say a child brings 10 shells, right? I mean, he gets 20-25 rupees, and a child who is from grade 1 to maybe grade, you can start it from grade 3 actually, up to grade O level or A level. By that time, Chathuranga, they will collect so much of money. So then they get used to the habit of saving. They get used to being environmentally active and alert. When they are walking, and if they see some yogurt cup or a bottle somewhere, a plastic bottle, they will go out and take it, because they know that they can make some money out of it, right? So this is a thing which I think, as a national policy, which has to come forward. I submitted this proposal to His Excellency the President some time ago. Of course, no action was taken. I mean, this just went by the wayside. I submitted this to the Honorable Minister Partly Champikaranaka as the Minister of Urban Development and Megapolis. Not much interest was taken, but anyway, this is a thing we can start at a school. Even now, even a principal of a school, who is hearing me, he can start this, right? And if we can get rid of that garbage, now the coconut shells are going into to the garbage. The cardboard is going into the garbage. The other thing is these bulbs. These bulbs, these energy-saving bulbs, has a lot of harmful chemicals in it. So, the moment you put it into the water, so many liters of water get contaminated. So then, if you can even bring that, you're saving our water resource, because Chathuranga, Sri Lanka is rich with water resources. We should protect our water resources, because in another 10-15 years time, water is going to be like petrol. It is going to have so much of value. Today, do you know that water is more expensive than milk? You buy a bottle of water, liter of milk, it's almost the same price. So what makes you think, with so much of rain, rainfall playing held in all over the world? Now, in this country, although we are experiencing rain, some areas there is drought.
Yes.
There is a drought, and the drought is there for the last 1.5 years. Right? So, what makes you think? Now, the southern hemisphere, we are experiencing less rain every 5 years. Right? So, coconut production has gone down. People are saying they are complaining about coconuts. It's not because of anything else, because the coconut triangle does not get enough rain. Therefore, there is no young coconuts coming into the tree. So there is a definite shortfall of rain. So we need to protect our water resources, and this is the only thing which we can market. Right? And rich country with water, rivers flowing all over the place, water just going into the sea. Right? So if we can protect this and preserve the water resources, that is where we can make our money. But unfortunately, Chathuranga, no attempt is being made. I remember I was reading a book of Mr. Lee Kuan Yew. When he took over as Prime Minister of Singapore, the Singaporean water canals were filthy. It was stinking. But today in Singapore, people can jump into the water canal and swim.
True.
Right? So to that extent, if he could do it, we can do it. Right? And all this Chathuranga is the work and the purview which comes under the local government election. President is the Minister of Environment. He needs to play a bigger role because he can see most of the people who are around him are robbing. They are involved in bribery and blatant corruption. Right? So he needs to check. Now I am told he has appointed another person as the chairman Timber Corporation. That fellow is also a rogue. He has a track record. His track record, right? So if you are going to put, if you put monkeys, you will only just get this kind of conduct. So even the president, the prime minister, everyone has a responsibility to this country. He says he is going to continue. If he is going to continue after 2020 and do the same thing, I mean, God help this country. They make big proclamations that he is going to continue. What is he going to continue and do? He has promised to change the election system. Let him change the election system. That is the biggest favor he can do. Because then you will get a new breed of people coming into this country. We need a new breed of people to come and run this country. We need people who love this country. Not people who are going there to get their positions, to get their perks, to get their privileges.
Thank you, Mr. Gunaratne, for being here with us. I would love to. I would love to be talking to you for another half an hour about these issues.
Thank you.
But the time has run out, and we are hitting the 7:30 mark. Once again, thank you for being here with us this morning. That's all we have from Newsline this morning. We'll join you tomorrow as well with an interesting guest like Mr. Gunaratne to talk about the current political situation and whatever is happening in the country. Thank you very much for watching.
Sorry, I couldn't get you to ask many questions.
No, that's fine. That's always fine. Thank you once again for watching. Take care.